Joining us now is New York University Professor Emeritus and AI expert Gary Marcus. He's the author of Rebooting AI, Building Artificial Intelligence We Can Trust. Also joining us is Associate Director of Analysis and a fellow at Georgetown's Center for Security and Emerging Technology, Owen Daniels. Great to have both of you here. So, Gary, you wrote something pretty dire. You wrote, Anthropic's showdown with the U.S. Department of War may literally be life or death for all of us. That sounds very extreme. Why do you believe that?
I usually try to write things that are not extreme, but we are talking about possibilities that could lead to accidental nuclear war. I don't think we're talking about deliberate nuclear war, but the reality is that AI right now is not magic. And the White House and people at the top of the Pentagon seem to treat it as magic. Whereas those who are actually building it realize that it hallucinates, it makes mistakes, stupid errors of reasoning. And if you put that into production, into practice in military, particularly in autonomous weapons kind of situations, then you can have accidents. And you really don't want to have a hallucinating large language model making a decision about launching a weapon. And it doesn't have to be a nuclear weapon, but there's reporting from the Washington Post today that suggests that this whole kerfluffle started over nuclear weapons. They're considering doing that. But even if it's something less, you could get an accidental war, right? If you have a hallucinating system launch an attack on somebody else, they're going to retaliate. You're going to have escalation. This is very serious stuff.
Owen, the Pentagon has said it has no interest in using Claude to spy on Americans or launch autonomous weapons. But if that's the case, why doesn't the Pentagon just agree to Anthropic's guidelines?
Yeah, I think it's a really challenging position for the Pentagon in terms of the optics of appearing that a contractor is dictating terms to the government, right? I think there's a real risk from the Pentagon's perspective that Anthropic's way of going about this issue could set a precedent that other contractors follow in the future in a way that's really undesirable, particularly in the event of a potential conflict, right? I think part of the issue here, though, is that even though there are policies within the DoD that restrict the use of fully autonomous weapon systems and try to ensure that there will be appropriate levels of human judgment over the deployment of AI-enabled weapon systems, a lot of this really comes down to the way that AI affects human decision-making. And Claude is, part of some important government systems that help operators make key decisions around military targeting. So I think a lot of this challenge is based on the kind of red lines that both the government and Anthropic are setting.
Well, and Anthropic's getting a lot of support. A lot of employees at both Google, a competitor, and OpenAI, another competitor, have signed petitions inside their own company saying we want to stand with Anthropic. Listen, Owen, ICE agents were using Palantir and Israeli AI to get facial recognition of protesters in Minnesota, many of whom were just protesting and not breaking the law. The DHS is currently being sued over this. So is it really outlandish to fear that the government and Palantir would take it a step further and spy on Americans, which is illegal?
I mean, it's a really important point that I think this episode has raised. There are obviously, as you mentioned, kind of legal restrictions on what the Pentagon can do with the technology here in the United States. But I think a lot of the value of this episode from a public perspective is bringing awareness about the dual use nature of this tech and the fact that applications that are used overseas could be adapted here on the home front. And that's something that we need to pay close attention to.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.